Good morning, all. This is Jack from Charting Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Friday, the 17th of July. My disclaimer: I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to refute trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers to Charting the Markets on Substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. Right, okay, I was writing a post this morning about the markets and the strange area we seem to find ourselves in the moment, where I'm still looking at the stuff on the surface and the short term, etc. But of course, there's this kind of huge powder keg in the background from the Iran war, and to a lesser extent from the tech bubble that of course could make all of this largely irrelevant in a short time. I am wondering if we might be seeing some weakness on the basis of that perception is becoming more important. Overnight, we've got a double top, which is broken down on ES with a target in the 74.30 area, and I'm wondering if that might follow through. In terms of NQ, the very nice looking falling wedge we've got here has actually reached back to the bottom. We've got possible support here, of course, no current positive divergence, but a retest of this low in RTH could, of course, give us that divergence. And we could head up from here. Is this a flag? No, because it doesn't come from the all-time high. However, this could, particularly if we went a little lower and just got below that low there, this could be some sort of a bullish overall flag or a triangle forming. In terms of RTY, we've got a nice looking head and shoulders, which has been forming all week. We're below the monthly pivot. We're below the daily middle band. And if we see a sustained break below this neckline here, currently at about the 29.50 area, that would have a target at about the 28.20 area. And I'm watching that with interest. On YM, we've got a possible head and shoulders here too. If we see a sustained break below the neckline, I've got that target in about the 5,500 area. Although actually that looks a little low. Sorry, I'm going to measure that, because actually we're almost at the stage those are broken down already. All right, bear with me. As I thought, we'd be talking about more of a target in about the 57.50 area, so we will see. In terms of DAX, possible bottoming action, I guess, not as nice as it was a couple of days ago. ESTX still hasn't quite managed to retest this low here, which I'm surprised about that. I was wondering about a retest this low and then possibly a double bottom there. Nikkei has gone down. I've drawn in a potential trend line here, but actually that's not the main thing I'm watching here. I was saying that if we were forming a head and shoulders here, then we might come down to this level and start forming a right shoulder, and that's what I'm wondering about. I think we might be forming a head and shoulders here. Ideally, we'd see a bounce here, which would get us up into, well, the monthly pivot area, 69,000, and then fail. So watching these with interest. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. And on SPX, we are still well above the daily middle band, and we are still well above the 50 DMA, but they are looking as though they might get a retest. So we will see about that. In terms of the hourly chart, not a lot to see, but you can see the double top that's breaking down currently on ES is here also on SPX and came very close. In fact, broke down very slightly at the close yesterday. I'm wondering whether that might play out. In the big scheme of things, that wouldn't actually be a huge move. In terms of the 15-minute chart, nothing to see really. In terms of Qs, obviously we're holding below the daily middle band, we're holding below the 50 DMA. We do have obviously still got a possible bull flag forming here, but I'm a bit concerned that this consolidation here on the daily RSI 5 has broken down, and I'm wondering if that's going to mean that we are going to see more downside. Hourly chart, no current divergence. 15-minute chart, no current divergence either. Looking at Dia, Dia is now testing the daily middle band and rising support, or at least very close to that test. So we will see how that develops, but that is very, very close to a test. And of course, the possible head and shoulders that has been forming here is pretty much formed, although my trend lines wandered a bit. Hang on, wait a second. Actually, if you draw that correctly, that head and shoulders actually formed and is starting to break down slightly. Is it as nice as the IWM head and shoulders? It is not. we will see whether that develops. Could it nonetheless head down and make the target and get down to what would really be a test of this possible larger head and shoulder neckline here in the VAR 1282 area? Yeah, I think it could. We shall see. All right, so we'll see how that goes. We weren't seeing a lot of positive divergence at the close yesterday. Looking at IWM. IWM on the daily chart, we're obviously holding below the daily midband. We saw another close below it yesterday, and we are breaking this rising support trend line from the end of March low. Nothing really to see on the hourly chart, nothing to see on the 15-minute chart, apart from a small RSI 5 buy signal, which has broken up. Decent looking head and shoulders forming here. It's not close to breaking down yet, but if it breaks down, then, well, I'd be taking it seriously. And the target would be this larger possible head and shoulder shoulder neckline in the 276.96 area. Looking at DAX, we've got a little lower here. We're below the 50 DMA now. Not close to breaking back over the daily band at the moment. And Nikkei is through this very nice looking rising megaphone neckline here, and I think this is likely topping out. However, what I would say is this is forming a topping process. We will see whether we actually form a large head and shoulders here. But this, I'm expecting to see a retracement on the basis of this nice looking rising megaphone having broken down, but we could, of course, as part of the topping process, see another retest of the high. So we shall see. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. DX, we still got a beautiful bull flag here. It's very nice, and we're on the way back up to the flag resistance here, and that's currently in the 101 area. Looking at the other currencies, not a lot to see. Looks like bear flag on EURUSD, GBP/USD pulling back a bit. USD/JPY still in what looks like a consolidation bullish triangle. USD CAD. Certain what's happening here, to be honest. Australian dollar, sell signal reached possible near miss target. This is forming a possible overall flag. NZUSD, we've got an IHS here, which is broken up with a target in the 59.63 area. If we'd see dollar going up, then chances are this would fail, and the obvious target for that failure would be a retest of the low. All right, ZB, this is looking, I was talking about the possibility we might see it move up here on ZB a couple of days ago, and in the last bigger picture webinar, and we are seeing what's the start of a break over the weekly pivot here. That's not terribly significant, because obviously that's only the weekly pivot for today. But I would note that we're at a potential inverted head and shoulder neckline, and I'm wondering about a possible right shoulder forming here. ZN, we've got an IHS forming, and that is just trying to break up at the moment. So watching that with great interest. Looking at coil, I wrote a post on oil earlier this week. I was talking about it needing to consolidate while the daily middle band turned up and the daily band started to expand, and we have seen that consolidation. I'm now wondering about it heading back up, retesting the high, possible little level top there, but obviously we've got IHS targets higher. IHS target on Brent is in the 91.5 area. On CL, that target is in the 85 area. I think there's a decent chance we're about to head up there. On HO, we've already gone back and retested the high. RBOB, we've already gone back and retested the high. HO's no longer got a sell signal. We never quite made the possible near miss target on CL, never quite made it on coil either, and we never even really tried to make it on RBOB. Those are still there, but I'm not taking them particularly seriously. NG, we had an IHS which broke up and failed. We've gone back, retested the low, and we've got a possible larger double bottom forming or potential larger IHS forming. But I think actually here, I haven't signed it as marked it as signed off, but I mean, I think the 60-minute buy signal reached the possible near miss target. We may just be heading down directly. GC, looking for a retest this low. We haven't quite made it. We have made it on silver, and we never even saw the bear flag break down on palladium, though it's testing support, and on platinum, where it's getting close to a test of support, and an HG, where it's nowhere near a test of support. So you've still got what looks like 3 bear flags forming, which haven't broken down yet. GC is almost at the low. SI has actually retested the low. So I'm wondering about those 3 other bear flags. KC, this looks like a bullish consolidation to me at the moment. Sugar, Sugar, we've got a double top which is broken down with a target from 1398 to 1413 area, and alternately, this could possibly be a bull flag. Keeping an open mind, CC, we've got a head and shoulders which is broken down with a target in the 4400 area. That could be failing. 60-minute sell signal has already reached the possible MS target. Lumber, really not sure what's happening here. I'm still wondering about a possible retest of this high. CT, the CT, the IHS that broke up, failed. So that's actually got a target back at a retest of the low. We've got a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing. We might see a bounce at the monthly pivot, but overall, the pattern setup is suggesting that we're going to be retesting this low soon. Looking at ZW, ZW has obviously made the double bottom target and then some. 60-minute sell signal fixed, maybe consolidating. Looks a bit like a head and shoulders, but really it's too poor quality for me to be thinking it might be one so far. Z on corn, we broke rising support slightly, not looking that significant, possible head and shoulders forming. Soy, very nice looking double top here, not showing any signs of breaking down. ZL, still looking for a retest of this high in the not too distant future. Live cattle is still in a clear downtrend, and no particular sign of that despairing. In fact, the nice 60-minute buy signal we had here failed yesterday. HE still looks like a bad flag for me. All right, great. In that case, well, we got no questions. Have a look at the post I did today, and there'll be another one on oil coming out today as well. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you again on Monday. All right, cheers.